So then how are we going to try and redefine masculinity, at least in your view? What does that
Yeah,
look like?
I think we got to start by increasing the ability of men to see, diagnose, and blow up the man box, and then be able to take it wherever they want to go. When I say man box, I'm taking from Tony Porter from A Call to Men, who coined the term. And it really defines the invisible walls we put around men, put around ourselves as we're learning it through society. That in order to be a man, right, I've got to exist solo. That the alpha male fallacy, where I've got to do everything solo without connection, without true emotional attachment to anything. I got to go do. I've got to go achieve and dominate everyone in my orbit, whether that's in the classroom, whether that's in my salary, whether that's in the bedroom. I've got to go conquest, conquest, conquest. I have to do all this as a static robot, and I have to. The worst part of this is the version of, because it adds up on itself, in that, hey, yesterday I proved to you that I am a man. Today I've got to go a step further. Like, yo, remember yesterday I told you I took her out on a date and we kissed? Well, the next time I go on a date, I got to come tell you that we did something more,
Mm.
And it doesn't even matter if I'm actually ready for that, if she's ready for that, if we talk about it. I got to go back and tell the boys. And just like you said, Aaron, I know this is real because I lived it and did it to people. Like, I did this version of, you know what? I know damn well about me, all these failings and these nerves I have as an 18-year-old, as a 22-year-old. But in this team, I have a voice. I'm a leader. I'm the best player. So in the back of the bus, in the back of the airplane, in the hotel, I'm going to call out all your failings according to the man box, so nobody gets to me about it. And
Mm.
I'm going to be the funny guy. Oh, Kip's so funny. Kip tells the best stories. And it all was rooted in other people's hurt, because I didn't want that gaze to come back at me. And that's the precarious nature of this man box. So the sooner we can get young men to see it and recognize these false messages of who they should be, then we free them up to go find who they want to be. And I don't ever want to put out a bulleted list of what Kip thinks it is, because I want young men to go find it themselves, right? Because my version might be curiosity plus unlearning plus reflection. Other men might find it in giving of themselves, in time, and in community. I don't know. But I don't want any of us to exist in this man box anymore. And I think the man box itself has creeped into the lexicon of sport, of how we define an athlete's success or a team's success. You can see some of these through lines of the bullshit the man box presents.
Yeah. Why is curiosity and unlearning, why are those important to you?
Because I think that's a great question. I think curiosity has allowed me to continue to grow, has allowed me
Mm.
to never stay stagnant in either myself, my knowledge, or who I am. I think there's versions of yourself. I think if you root yourself in, I want to stay curious, humble, and growing, then you don't have to stay rooted to ideas or beliefs or actions that don't serve you anymore. Because I think we get caught up in, well, I want to be authentic, so I can't flip flop. Well, flip flop is rooted in, oh, I'm going to grab onto one thing that's static. I think life is evolving, right? So if my core being is staying curious, staying humble, dropping things that don't serve me, onboarding new things, and being willing to do it all over again, I can stay pretty true to that, right? So I think that's probably, and honestly, this is rooted in. Thank God. And this, people ask me all the time, if you could go back, would you change your record in college basketball coaching? And of course, I would, for my players, for my assistant coaches that bled and sacrificed and gave me their soul and had to look up at that damn scoreboard so often and feel deflated. If I could go back and change that for them, but I get to keep the lessons of the ass whippings that I learned, I'd do
Mm.
it tomorrow. But if you're telling me we're going to go back and win and I'm going to stay the cocky, arrogant, static guy that I was at 29, I don't think I want to, man. I really don't. Like, I think losing taught me a new version. And it doesn't mean I don't think, I think I can keep doing this and find wins and find competitive greatness. Absolutely. But I don't want to go back to being that guy who was single-mindedly like, whatever the end of that thing is the value. I don't want to be that person.
Yeah.